We are back with another video. I know I've been away for a bit. It's been a little depressing without basketball around right now. I'm usually mentally prepared for the months from like July till, June till September, when actual basketball comes back, the preseason and everything. But this is definitely different, and not having basketball right now, right before the playoffs are about to begin, is definitely frustrating. Everyone's stuck at home, we've been told to stay at home. When was the last game against the Raptors played? It was against Utah, I believe, March 9th. So it's been like 12 days. I'm accustomed to this lifestyle because I'm not really a guy that goes out a lot. But usually we got basketball to entertain us, and it's not there right now. So, just got to find some things to do. A lot of people are gaming. You see a lot of people online with 2K, Call of Duty, and even the Call of Duty game on mobile. But we're not here to talk about all that. I just want to get into another video. This one is called 5 Moves That Must Happen This NBA Offseason. We don't know if the regular season's done yet. We don't even know if the NBA season overall in general is done. So, without further ado, let's just jump right into this and see what it's all about. See the moves.
What is up, everyone? What is going on? It's Luca Rosano here, back with another video. And guys, in this video, we're going to be looking at 5 moves that must happen this NBA offseason, whenever the offseason officially happens, because we're still awaiting word on whether or not we're going to see the continuation of this regular season. But once the offseason in the NBA happens, these are 5 moves that must happen. We're going to look at each one, and we're going to look at why, in fact, they should happen. So it's going to be a cool video, guys. This is in my opinion. And before we get right into it, please drop a like on this video. Let's get to 100 likes. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Hit post notifications and follow me on social media. I'm making killer content on TikTok. Go and follow me on there. We're almost at 1K followers. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Yes, I still use Facebook. I'm that old. Hit me up down below. All the links to my social media channels or my usernames to my social media channels will be down below. So guys, let me know what you think. Enjoy this video, and we're going to get right into it. Here's some moves that must happen once the NBA offseason rolls around. And we're going to start with the first move. Kevin Love to the Blazers. It's been rumored that Kevin Love...
Yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot of these trades are going to be stuff that's been rumoring around for a lot of players. Kevin Love hasn't been, happy in Cleveland, but the coach that made him feel that way is gone now. The team and the coach parted ways, so Kevin Love is from Oregon, so he's been asking to go home, but, his contract is so expensive that it's hard to move him, especially because you have to give so many assets, and Cleveland also has to agree to what they get in return. Whiteside is definitely a player that was there for a while, but Whiteside is, it doesn't make sense. He's just going to be an expiring contract, and they're trying to get assets back, and I don't think Cleveland was willing to part way with assets, so we'll see if this happens, but this is definitely one that's been rumoring around a long time.
Would be on the market at the NBA trade deadline, but the Cavaliers decided to stand put and do nothing. I believe Kevin Love will finally get traded this NBA offseason, and it's been rumored that Kevin Love prefers the Portland Trail Blazers as his trade destination. Kevin O'Connor said this about the potential move. Nurkic will return, and Love would be a terrific front court partner because of his perimeter shooting and playmaking ability. Portland could then play big up front, which would be valuable in a series against a team with a bigger front court like the Lakers. Or it could go with Love at center, which could be useful against the Rockets, who often size down with PJ Tucker at center. Now, Love to the Blazers would finally give Portland a legitimate third All-Star with Lillard and CJ McCollum, assuming the Blazers don't bring back 35-year-old Carmelo Anthony. Kevin Love has averaged 17 points and 8 boards this season, and is still playing at a very high level. Now, the Blazers do have matching contracts in Whiteside and Bazemore to make this trade happen, but it is worth noting that both will be free agents this summer. But a sign-and-trade scenario would still be possible. Kevin Love must be traded.
Bazemore went to Sacramento, so that's not possible. Whiteside's still there, but this is his final year of his contract. But can you imagine how horrible that defense would be if you had Damian Lillard, who isn't really an undersized point guard, but he's still small. CJ McCollum really isn't known for his defense. Both those guys in the backcourt are known as offensive juggernauts. Then you got Melo, if he does come back next season with the Portland Trail Blazers. His defense is ass. Trevor Ariza, don't know if they're going to bring him back, but even if they do, if they get Kevin Love, he's going to be matched up with Nurkic in the front court with more than likely Melo. Or if they go with Trevor Ariza, I mean, Trevor Ariza would be the best defensive player in that lineup. Kevin Love isn't really known for his defense. He's known as an outside threat and an amazing rebounder. Nurkic, he did play some decent, mediocre defense when he was with the Portland Trail Blazers when he was playing before his injury. But Nurkic is coming back from a foot injury, a leg injury, a gruesome injury, and he's going to be limited with his minutes. Don't know how he's going to look when he comes back. But just if they do somehow form this team together, and if Melo does come back and Trevor Ariza comes back, depending on who starts, that team's still not going to be good defensively.
The Portland Trail Blazers. He wants to go there. It will make the Blazers a much better team. So this is one of the moves that's going to start off our list. Let's look at the next move here of an NBA move that must happen this NBA offseason.
Bro, people are not asking the right
get
questions.
these freaking commercials out of here, man.
They already know the answers.
Just come and bother me every time I'm trying to get into a video.
Is being used.
Piss me off.
Devin Booker to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Yes, we all know that the trio of Karl Anthony Towns, D'Angelo Russell, who's recently traded from the Warriors to the Timberwolves, and Devin Booker, they all have...
Phoenix is not going to trade Devin Booker. Unless Devin Booker gets frustrated with them and asks for an out. Why would he want to leave Phoenix to go to Minnesota? Even though two of his best friends are there, like, the weather in Phoenix compared to Minnesota is absolutely horrific. Like, that's like someone leaving LA to come to Toronto. That's facts. And, if Phoenix continues to be horrible, which they're not, because the veterans they brought in this year, they were off to a good start, but then, Ayton was suspended for 25 games, and then Baines got, I think, injured. Rubio was in and out of the lineup, so, that kind of messed with their chemistry a bit, but overall, if they can keep that team intact and get some more veterans in there, I think they can make a playoff push, hopefully next season. As of right now, Minnesota's a lost cause. D'Angelo, Karl Anthony Towns, they don't seem like they want it, to be honest. It's just an eye test, you can tell. They played the Raptors. Rondae Hollis-Jefferson was our center for that night. Karl Anthony Towns was outside shooting threes, and he was celebrating when they were down 15.
Plans of one day playing with each other. And, the Timberwolves currently have two pieces to that puzzle complete, and now they're only missing Booker to complete their trio. This is something that must happen sooner rather than later. So how could the Timberwolves trade for Devin Booker to make this a reality? Well, with James Johnson being the salary that can help the Wolves get up to that Devin Booker number, Minnesota would then fill out the rest of the deal with young players and draft picks. Assuming Jalen Noel and Naz Reid don't really move the needle for Phoenix, Rosas will need to send an historic amount of draft compensation in this potential trade. The Wolves do have all of their own future draft picks outside of the 2020 second round pick they dealt to the Warriors, so they could send as much draft capital as they need to get Phoenix to bite. This would give the Timberwolves a young, formidable trio that actually all have a great relationship with one another. This would be the first of its kind since Bosh and LeBron teamed up with their good
Hell
buddy,
no.
Dwayne Wade
Did you really?
in Miami.
Did you just compare LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh to these three? First of all, these three don't even play defense. I have nothing to say. That's all I'm going to say.
So, guys, Booker to Minnesota is a trade that must happen. The fans want to see it, Minnesota wants to see it, and we want to pair up. We want to have all these three friends play alongside with one another. That would be something interesting in Minnesota. The next move that must happen, Gordon Hayward to the Utah Jazz. Now, there have been NBA rumors that suggest that the Celtics could trade Gordon Hayward back to the Utah Jazz, and I'm all for it. Hayward played some of his best basketball for the Jazz before signing that lucrative deal with the Celtics. Bringing Hayward back to Utah somewhat makes sense for the Jazz because before he left the Jazz in the summer of 2017, Hayward was considered as the face of the franchise for years. Hayward may have been a disappointment in Boston, but reuniting with the NBA team that turned him into an all-star caliber player may help him return to his old self.
Saying a disappointment in Boston is not true because it's not his fault that he got injured like the first 5 minutes into his first game as a Celtic. That horrific leg injury that he got in Cleveland, that's not his fault. I mean, you can't control injuries, it's part of the game. And he's been playing really well this season. You know, obviously Kyrie was more of a ball hog when he was in Boston, so it was kind of hard for Gordon to find his rhythm with Kyrie not being that facilitator that you want in a point guard. Like if you put Lowry with Gordon Hayward in a system, it would work. But Kyrie is more of a street ball and one-on-one type player, so that's why it didn't work that time. And I feel like they brought Gordon Hayward back too soon, and it kind of went away from the young players and it kind of stopped their growth. And you can see that this season with Jason Tatum and the way he's playing. He looks like a superstar in the making, and he's literally, growing before our eyes. But yeah.
Now, for this trade to happen, most likely the Utah Jazz would have to send a package that would include Bojan Bogdanovic, Joe Ingles, Royce O'Neal, and Ed Davis. So, I mean, if you're the Jazz, you're getting your one's face of the franchise to return. And if you're the Boston Celtics, that would be a no-brainer to add all those assets for pretty much a player that is not needed on your team as of now. The next trade that must happen, DeMar DeRozan to the Orlando Magic. DeMar DeRozan, he might be on the move once again. The disgruntled star is reportedly not happy in San Antonio. A report from Yahoo.
I mean, sorry I keep pausing the video, but I got to get my thoughts out on this as well. I mean, there's been rumors around for a while now. Orlando's been looking at DeRozan because their team hasn't been able to progress to the level they want. They've had a lot of injuries as well, but DeRozan's something, he's a pretty healthy player. Not that great on defense, but he's an offensive scorer that you can go to at the end of a game. And he's definitely someone that Orlando has been looking at for a while. This works for both teams. I don't know if Orlando would be willing to give him a contract extension for another 4 to 5 years. That's still to be determined. But with San Antonio side, this is a no-brainer. You get two young, athletes, assets. Aaron Gordon, borderline all-star. You got Mo Bamba, who hasn't had the time that he deserves to be in the lineup with Orlando to kind of show what he can do. Especially with the emergence of Jonathan Isaac, Mo Bamba is kind of, the odd man out because, they re-signed Vucevic last season to a 4-year, $100 million deal. But yeah, this is a no-brainer for both teams. I think it would work out. I think both teams would be happy. Like I mentioned, DeRozan hasn't been happy with the fact that San Antonio isn't really featuring him as much in the offense as it was in Toronto, or as he was featured in Toronto. But yeah.
Sports Chris Haynes claimed that DeRozan may actually decline his player option, which is currently at $27 million, to remain a Spur if an agreement cannot be reached before the June 30th deadline. Now, I think DeRozan's days as a Spur, guys, are numbered, and he should be traded to a franchise that is in desperate need of a high-caliber wing scoring option, and that would be the Orlando Magic. Could you imagine pairing DeRozan with Vucevic? That would make the Magic a quiet dark horse in the Eastern Conference. Andy Bailey of Bleacher Report believes that DeRozan should be Orlando's top trade target. He went on to say this: DeRozan may not do a ton to move the needle in terms of efficiency, but he would provide volume and could possibly pull defensive attention away from Evan Fournier and Nikola Vucevic. He also might hurt Orlando's top 10 defense, but there might be enough talent on that end with Markelle Fultz and Jonathan Isaac to cover for DeRozan's shortcomings. The problem, however, is making salaries match. Orlando would have to most likely give up one of its young frontcourt players like Mo Bamba or even Aaron Gordon, and would most likely have to include DJ Augustine in the deal as salary filler. But this must happen because DeRozan needs a new start, and he played some of his best basketball when he was over in the Eastern Conference with the Toronto Raptors. DeRozan with the Orlando Magic could be what that franchise needs to turn their fortunes around. And the final move we're going to look at in this piece, guys, a move that must happen this NBA offseason.
The results strongly support that
Bro,
these beings are not closely related.
I'm done with these
to
freaking
any
commercials.
organism.
Bradley Beal to the Toronto Raptors.
Yes. This is a deal that should be done. It's been discussed for a while now. We've been talking about it. There's been so many rumors about Bradley Beal being... Well, not that he's unhappy in Washington. Obviously, he hates the losing because he's a competitor, and it's in his nature. But, you know, John Wall, we don't know how he's going to come back. He looks good. And Washington said they want to keep him. They gave him the extension, and and Bradley Beal said he wants to retire as a Wizard. But can you imagine if he was on our team? Him, Pascal Siakam, Van Vliet, even Lowry. Like, if he comes in the next year or two, like that, we would be back. I mean, we're already in a conference final contending type situation. With Bradley Beal, it's guaranteed that we would be in that, in that category. Definitely could help us get to the finals. He's that 40-point scorer that we don't have right now. He's like an upgraded version of DeRozan because he does play defense and he can shoot the three. So he's a lot more of a threat, and he's a pretty decent passer, to be honest. He got, snubbed from the All-Star game, unfortunately, because it was the Eastern Conference and they were losing. But right after that, he dropped like a 53-point game, a 55-point game. He had like a triple-double, I think. He was going off, trying to let people know that he's out here.
Yes, Bradley Beal to the Raptors must happen. Now, it's no surprise that the Raptors have a gaping hole at the shooting guard position. Although Fred VanVleet has had success at that position, how much longer until his size or lack of size becomes problematic when playing against a big team like the Milwaukee Bucks? Norman Powell has shown that he's more than capable of filling that void, but how much is health an issue? Norman Powell has struggled mightily to stay healthy for the course of a full season. So the Raptors' solution at shooting guard, not only for now, but for the foreseeable future, is Bradley Beal, and this trade must happen. Having Beal with Siakam and Van Vliet moving forward would give the Raptors a very good young promising trio to build around. The issue here is that the Raptors would have to give up OG Anunoby, a player that I'm super fond of, and he is the real prize for the Wizards in a potential deal of this magnitude. A deal that the Raptors could muster would look something like Norman Powell, Patrick McCaw, OG Anunoby, Rondé Hollis-Jefferson after a sign and trade, and a first-round pick to acquire the services of Bradley Beal. Now, some of you might be thinking, that's way too much to give up for Beal, but let's not forget, guys, the Raptors would be getting a 25-point-per-game scorer and a legitimate all-star. And what's very important to note is that even if the Raptors were to acquire Beal via trade, this deal would not hurt the Raptors' chances, as they would still be in a prime position to land Giannis Antetokounmpo if he decides to become a free agent in 2021. So, Raps fans, having Beal join Toronto's young nucleus wouldn't be a bad idea, and I think it's something that must happen. And if Masai Ujiri is under operation, you just never know, and this could actually come to fruition. There you have it, guys. In my opinion, here are 5 moves that must happen this NBA offseason.
All right, well, that's going to do it for this video. Those 5 trades, 4 out of the 5 trades have been rumored, except maybe the Gordon Hayward one. That came out of nowhere. I don't know why Utah would do that. Or, yeah, I don't see why they'd give up so much of the depth with, Bogdanovich and Joe Ingles back to get a player who's, Gordon Hayward, who isn't the same player, obviously, with his injury coming back, and you never know. So, yeah, I don't think that would happen. DeRozan going to Orlando, definitely a high chance, I think. Bradley Beal, fingers crossed it happens. Most of the pieces that would have to go aren't really something that's part of our actual nucleus. 2 out of the 4, Norman Powell and OG Anunoby are. But if you want to get an all-star back, you're going to have to give up some big pieces. And unfortunately for us, it takes away from our depth. But to get a 25-point scorer who plays really good elite defense and also can shoot the 3 at a high clip like he does, I believe it's worth it. And he won't have to worry about being snubbed on another all-star team because you know how Raptors fans do for their players. They always come through and get their players into the all-star game. So, yeah, that's a benefit for both sides. Well, that's going to do it for now. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, show your boy that love, show your boy that support. We're going to get back on this grind because we got nothing better to do. Quarantined and all. We're going to be in the crib for a very, very, very long time. And with basketball gone, I'm going to be checking for some other videos to see if there's anything interesting to watch and react to for you guys. But yeah, thank you for your continued support. And till next time, stay blessed, stay woke, and please, I haven't done it in a while, so I've messed up. But please, stay safe. Peace!